Hi, my name is Dan Bidondi. I'm a Second Amendment advocate and activist here in the state of Rhode Island, and also a talk show host of the Dan Bidondi Show and TruthRadioShow.com. So the reason for this video today, because I want to clear up a lot of misconceptions about the Second Amendment sanctuary here we got going on here in Rhode Island. Basically turning a lot of towns already. We've got 4 towns already that are Second Amendment sanctuary. And I want to address the issues that people have in doubt. Okay, and some of them from gun owners, gun supporters, Second Amendment supporters, and most of them are just from complete jackasses who want to take your civil liberties. So basically, this whole resolution, that's what it is a resolution to create a sanctuary that will honor and respect your gun rights, your Second Amendment rights. So basically, it will be in contrary to say, hey, if the governor pushes a tyrannical law that's unconstitutional, that's deemed unconstitutional, we have a right to resist. Not only a resolution says that, but the Constitution as well. But I'm going to clear up a couple of misconceptions, and this goes to everybody. Police chiefs, politicians, lawyers, what have you, okay? You need to understand this, and regular people who are opposed to this especially. So people are going around saying, you know what, a resolution doesn't mean nothing. It's just a feel-good thing. That's all it is. It's non-binding. It's non-contractual. It really doesn't mean nothing. It's just a feel-good thing. But really, let me clear something up. First of all, if you really think about that, and I don't mean no disrespect to most of y'all, but you need to go back to school and learn history. Well, I'm sorry, they took civics out of school, so nobody knows history right the way they should. That's why I recommend people go to Camp Constitution every July. Hal Shirtliff, I'll put the links under the description. He holds a great camp. It's a week long, I believe it is. It's called Camp Constitution, where they get in depth with founding documents. The Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and everything else. So basically, if you think these are just feel-good things, they don't mean nothing, you need to learn history. Because let me tell you something about sanctuaries. Let me tell you something about resolutions, okay? Especially, it's just a feel-good thing. Well, it does feel good. You're right, 100%. I feel good about it, and so does everybody else that's pushing it feel good about it, because it does mean something. All right, and you talk about sanctuaries. All right, Rhode Island was the first sanctuary in the history of the whole North American continent, yeah. Preferably here in America, even before it was America, at the time when it was under British rule. Rhode Island was the first sanctuary. Rhode Island was one of the first founder was Roger Williams. He was in 1636. He was given land here in Rhode Island that was given to him by the Narragansett Indians. So basically, he created this safe haven. He called it was a sanctuary. He named it Providence because it means in God's care. And he was a very spiritual man. And I know there's a lot of misinformation about him, whatever. He was a very spiritual man. He made this as a safe haven, a sanctuary for those who were being persecuted by the British because they were Christians and Puritans, which is the same thing, just about, because they were trying to enforce the Church of England down everybody's throats. You had to be under their system, the British system. They were enforcing strict gun control at the time. They were going confiscating militiamen's firearms and everything else because things were heating up. And they were pushing heavy taxation without representation. So Roger Williams was like, you know what, come on over here. We don't have to abide by that scumbag, the Crown's laws. You come over here, we're going to live as free men and women. And he was a lawyer too, I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but he was a lawyer. He knew the law because people say, well, you know what, there's a rule of law, we got to honor the law. Well, many of the founding fathers were lawyers. Edmund Burke, for one, was a famous one. I think it was Stephen Hopkins. He was a lawyer as well. But it was many lawyers within the founding fathers, many that signed the Declaration of Independence. So they created a safe haven here in Rhode Island. Roger Williams did, a sanctuary. So that's where sanctuaries come from. So if you don't think they mean anything, where we stand today was the first sanctuary in the history of America. Now, as far as these feel-good things like the resolution, if you think the resolution's feel-good thing, okay, you understand this. This resolution was signed by 56 brave men. And what that resolution was called? The Declaration of Independence. One of the men right in Hopkinton, Rhode Island, was named after him, the town, Steve Hopkinton. Okay, he was a Hopkins, Stephen Hopkins. He was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. That was a resolution. Then along come the Constitution for the United States of America. That was a resolution. Then, even better, added to that, was another resolution called the Bill of Rights. Was introduced in 1789 and ratified in 1791. And in fact, right here in Rhode Island, we were the last state to sign the Constitution until the Congress added the Bill of Rights to the Constitution. That's when we signed. It was 12, at first they proposed 12 and they edited it down to 10, what we have today. The first 10 Bill of Rights, they're unalienable rights, they were clearly stated. And that's what the reason why I'm bringing this up for, because you officers out there, politicians, lawyers need to pay attention to this. Because people say, well, amendments, well, they're meant to be amended. Well, no. Not really. The first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, the original Bill of Rights, unalienable rights, stated by James Madison, the creator of them, and many other founding fathers. Unalienable rights, they were set in stone. You cannot touch them with a 10-foot pole. Government has zero jurisdiction or authority to touch these at all. Because the thing is, they were made to keep government in check and people in power. That's what it's made for. So by you saying, well, we could ratify, we could change the Second Amendment and all that, it's like saying the warden at the ACI could be overruled by his own prisoners. Not going to happen, can't happen. So anybody has any brain ideas that you're going to change the Second Amendment or we can make a law that's repugnant to it, you can't. Because you just got to start a war, plain and simple. So basically here in Rhode Island, we're trying to make keep things peaceful, create these sanctuary towns to tell the governor or whoever else, hey, listen, you push any laws that are repugnant to the Constitution is the law of the land, not what the governor says. So tomorrow, and that's State House, right, all the Senate, all the House could say, you know what, we're going to approve all these gun control bills. The governor signs them all into law. Guess what? Even though she says they're a law now, it's not a law because it's repugnant against the Constitution, therefore becoming null and void. The Constitution trumps those laws, clearly stated by our founding documents. I don't need to go to Harvard, I don't need to go to Princeton or anything else to know this stuff. This is clear, basic stuff that a 12-year-old should know. So I don't need a doctorate degree to tell you this stuff when it's clearly stated without interpretation. Clear as day. So don't sit there and say a resolution doesn't mean anything. It's just a feel-good thing. Well, yeah, if that was the case, then the Constitution doesn't mean anything. The Declaration of Independence doesn't mean anything. The Bill of Rights don't mean anything. And in Rhode Island, we got our own Constitution as well. That was started from a resolution too. So if you think none of these things mean anything, man, you need to get your head checked. And resolutions do mean something. They're very effective, and it's our way to tell, like we here in Rhode Island did, my ancestors here in Rhode Island, it's our way of telling the tyrants at the time of the crown, and here in Rhode Island today, our way of telling the new King George, the new tyrant, Gino Raimondo, we will not comply to any unjust, unconstitutional laws that violate our life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And exactly what they were doing back then, attacking your life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, Gino Raimondo's doing the same thing. She's attacking young, innocent children, trying to force legal abortions up to birth, and if they have their way, it's going to be post-abortions. Huge tax raises everywhere. 10% additional taxes on guns and ammo. Punish us gun owners for criminals' activities by taking our semi-automatic weapons away, our high-capacity magazines away, and leaving the schools defenseless. So by all means, she's the one violating the law. Then she has the nerve to frown upon us. Going on, it's like, well, if they wanted to make a change, they should go to the State House and lobby. Well, Mrs. Raimondo, case, I don't know what kind of planet you're living on, because in case you didn't notice, we've been at the State House lobbying for gun rights. Right? We outnumber your little moms hundreds to one easily. And then the sad part is, you have to bust some of these girls and this woman in from other states, Massachusetts, Connecticut, to show some kind of support. Then you got the fake news Channel 12 and some of the Project Journal, all that, backing you, backing you gun grabbers with Linda Finnan on to say, hey, oh, they got just as much support. It's about equal. No, it's not equal. It never was. We've been lobbying 35 to 4,000 plus at the State House every time compared to your 100, sometime 100. Most of the time it's under 100. And so don't sit there and tell us we need to lobby at the State House, because we have been. You haven't been listening. And so having your progressive scum in the Senate, they haven't been listening either. So now the Constitution clearly states for us, we the people, to take action against that. When your elected officials do not do your job, when your government ceases to do their jobs and violates the rights of the people, it therefore falls upon the people to take action and overthrow that such guard. And we're not saying a shootout revolution. No, we're not saying that. We are taking action, and come election time, we're putting you people to sleep. We're going to put good people in. We're going to stop this voter fraud because it's the only way these people get in. And we've already nailed that now, so we're going to put action against that. And you talk about we're the ones committing the crime. You're the one, Mrs. Raimondo. You and the laws are turning Providence into a sanctuary city for illegals. You're openly declaring you're violating federal law, violating the Constitution, but yet you frown upon us for making a sanctuary that honors the law. We're honoring the law. We're exalting the law. You're the one breaking it. Don't flip it around as we're the bad guys or we're some extremists or dangerous people. No, you're the extremists. You're the dangerous people. You scum out there. You go out there and preach gun control, gun control, gun control. Then the next, the poor kids, and you have these fake crocodile tears. Oh, and you bring these poor kids in from Parkland or Sandy Hook, whatever, from these schools and have them get up there and exploit these kids for your agenda. Then the kids are going to shop. Then the week after, you're there advocating to kill babies. Does that make any damn sense? You people are insane. We're putting a stop to you, plain and simple. We want the same thing everybody wants. We don't want kids shot up. We don't want schools being shot. We don't want no mass shootings. And to do that, you don't take away from us, the civilians. You increase the gun rates. You know what I mean? You'll think for 1 minute that if half the teachers had firearms and the staff and all that, there would have been a school shooting. Not a chance in hell. Israel, their schools in 1974. Guess how many school shootings happened since then to now? 44 years. 2 attempts. Both of them were stopped by staff or a teacher with the firearm. That system works. So if you want to model after somebody, it says that we need to model after Australia. We need to model after the UK. Really? Where the crime rates are through the roof, now they're trying to ban knives. They're trying to ban sticks and clubs and everything else, and it doesn't work. People are still going to find a way to kill people. Look in, I think it was China, a woman stabbed like 40 people. Killed 40 people with a knife, and they want to ban knives now. You know what I mean? People will always find a way to attack people. And when that big shooting took place in France, even the French government admitted it was the biggest mistake of our lives of disarming our people. Look at Venezuela, perfect example. 2012, we will keep you safe. You turn in your firearms to us, and we will keep you safe from terrorists, from any mass shootings. People by the hordes flooded to their local town sheriffs or whatever they were and handed in their firearms. Total gun confiscation in Venezuela. Total gun confiscation because the people thought that their government was going to protect them. Now look at today. Your own liberal media, MSNBC, put their own foot in their mouth by saying, oh, the reason why this is going on because the people don't have firearms to protect themselves. The same thing we've been trying to tell you, anti-gunners, for years. The people have rocks and sticks against tanks and guns. That's why the government's just shooting people left and right. In Nigeria, there's thousands of people. Since January, there's been well over 10,000 Christians have been slaughtered. Not one peep in the mainstream media. And it's still going on today. Since January. Over 10,000 people because they were defenseless. And if you think for 1 second during the Jewish Holocaust, and now, let me remind you, okay, it's horrible, really, it's disgusting. And my hearts go out to those people. But the Nazis, wasn't many as compared to the Jews. The Jews outnumbered them hundreds to one. And it's kind of pathetic, really, because you got one guy standing there near the train with a gun, maybe 1 or 2, and you got herds of the Jews being loaded into the trains by the hundreds. You think for 1 second that half those Jews had guns. You think there would have been a Holocaust? Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. Because they outnumbered the Nazis hundreds to one. And if half the Jewish population had firearms, there would have never been a Holocaust. And you damn well know that. In the 1900s alone, dictators have said the same thing you people saying. You need to give up your firearms for safety. And Benjamin Franklin said, remember? Those who would give up their essential liberties for security will get or deserve neither. And that pertains to everything to do with this stuff. 1900s, like I said, how many dictators, Stalin, Hitler, Pol Pot, all these people through the 1900s, dictators said, we will keep you safe and turn in your firearms. And people say, you know what, let's do it because, you know what, our government would never attack us. They would never do something like that. It would never happen here. And boom, as soon as they turn their firearms in, hundreds of millions of people suffered by the hands of their own governments. Herds and herds of people, all lined up, bang, 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 and it was not a damn thing they could do about it because not one of those people had a firearm to protect themselves. And it's not just the Jewish Holocaust, it was just so many mass slaughtering of people all throughout history, and they were defenseless because they chose to give up their firearms because they thought their government was going to keep us safe. The same exact rhetoric, the same playbook you people are preaching today, the Bloomberg scripts, the Hitler's playbook and everything else that you people, you far-left progressive scum, social scum, have no business in our country. And we should reinforce the Communist Enforcement Act. I think it was 1954. President Eisenhower had a communist, basically it was an act that would outlaw communism, any acts of communism. That needs to be reinstalled today. Because these people, they go around saying they want to take out gun rights, they want to attack all of his constitutional rights, but yet, when we talk about something like this, they say we're violating the freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Because they're openly to call and to destroy our Constitution. We need to make a stand now. And I'm sure everybody here in Rhode Island is sick of having to go to the State House year after year after year after year to fight for a right that we should already have. Every year, we have to take time out of our time, our families and everything else to go fight for our gun rights. Enough is enough. You know, by this sanctuary thing is a beautiful thing by we the people of Rhode Island for sanctuary cities. It's a beautiful thing because now it's affirming. Each of these towns and the cities that are going to sign on, affirming, yeah, you know what, Governor, go push what you want. It's not going to comply here. We're not going to comply, and sure as hell, we're not going to let you to come take our firearms. We will resist you at every front, every force. And reminder, you do not, get this through your head. You do not have enough people to enforce your slavery control. You understand that? Because that's what it is. Gun control is slavery control. You want to turn us into slaves because you're a global scum, a Council on Foreign Relations member. You want to turn us all into slaves. That's what you want to do. We're not going to comply, and we will resist at every front. And no, not one of us here are calling to fire one shot, not one. But if it comes to the time that, hey, our liberties are on attack, our lives are on stake, we're going to defend ourselves. We're going to leave it at that. So, again, going back to the sanctuaries, Rhode Island was the first sanctuary here in American history. And rebellion against tyranny. Thomas Jefferson said, liberty is eternal vigilance. You know what I mean? And every generation needs a revolution. Every generation, the tree of liberty must be fed with blood from patriots and tyrants from time to time. And the guy's right. And I'm not calling for a violent war. We're trying to keep this peaceful and politically. And we're doing a damn good job doing that. And we got tons of people signing on to this. Democrats too, good Democrats, who are coming out of the progressive hijacked areas and say, you know, we don't want nothing to do with the progressives, you know what I mean? And the good Republicans who have nothing what to do with the racist far-right people, you know what I mean? So we're seeing people starting to merge together again here in Rhode Island, and it's a good thing, and we need to keep this bipartisanship. I'm an independent constitutionalist. I don't play party games, you know what I mean? We the people are not, we the people, the Constitution was established long before the Republican and Democratic Party. So don't turn the Second Amendment into a right versus left issue. It's nothing to do with either the two. It's to do with we the people, as Americans. So we need to keep up the sanctuary. And again, if you think a sanctuary, a resolution means nothing, you just got your ass schooled, plain and simple. Dan Bidondi, TruthRadioShow.com. Remember, you are the resistance. Keep it up, man, because resistance is victory. And we're proving it here in Rhode Island because the governor thought for sure that she was going to push her tyrannical and unconstitutional gun laws, and she's failed miserably. Miserably. And they're going to fail each and every time. So I'm calling on every one of you Rhode Islanders out there to get out at the next election, to get out there and run. Run for office. And I recommend to run as independent. But if you want to run as a Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or what have you, do what you want. But we need people who honor the law. And again, anything, this is the Constitution, anything that's not inside this Constitution envelope, in the realm of it, is null and void. We can't go far right, far left, whatever. We need to stay within the confines of the Constitution. That's what the law is of the land. So police chiefs, police men in general, politicians, lawyers, you want to honor the law, we'd respect that. Honor the Constitution. That's your sworn oath you took upon when you were in the military, or in the office, or as a police officer. That's the oath you took upon. to honor and protect the Constitution for the United States of America. I took that oath, and that's exactly what I'm going to defend. You know what I mean? And I speak for countless thousands of Rhode Islanders here that will defend the Second Amendment. And a lot of police officers have told me the same thing. So it's a good thing we got going on here in Rhode Island, and I'm going to end this here, just rambling on. Everybody that watches me all the time, it's a talk show host that takes over. My goal is I was trying to get a 5-minute thing and just get it out, but you know how that goes. There's just so much information, more than I want to tell you. But again, Second Amendment sanctuary, it's not just a feel-good thing. It really means something, because a resolution created the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, and many other great documents, Rhode Island Constitution as well. So guys, God bless you, and dear Bidondi, resistance is victory. Yeah, Second Amendment. Declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com.